Hello, good afternoon, friends. Today I'll be discussing the figure of speech irony with you, the literary term, in fact, irony with you. Now, the term irony comes from the Greek word ironia, meaning an utterance or a situation that is different, often opposite to the literal one. Irony is an indirect divergence between what is said and what is meant. Saying you are a pretty sight to a mud splattered child is an illustration of irony. Of the various types of irony, the simplest form of irony is verbal irony, also called rhetorical irony, where the speaker says the direct opposite of what he means. Now, dramatic irony or tragic irony, we can say, depends on the structure of the play. It generally occurs in the plays, and especially in the plays of William Shakespeare. Shakespeare's play Twelfth Night affords an example or many illustrations of verbal irony. Now, dramatic irony occurs in a play when the audience knows facts of which the characters in the play are ignorant about. It depends upon the structure of the play rather than its use of words. So we have to pay attention to the structure of the words rather than the use of the words. And then the irony is being justified. There is a difference between what is spoken and what is meant. That is the basic thing of what irony is. Now, the Greek tragedy is full of ironic situations. As you already know, that Shakespeare took the inspiration of all his tragedies from the Greek tragedy, and Aristotle was the father of Greek tragedy. So, Greek tragedy is full of many ironic situations. In the tragedy Oedipus Rex by Sophocles, Oedipus curses the man who has killed his father, but the audience know that he is committing the crime unknowingly. So, this is an example of a Greek tragedy that we are talking about. Macbeth has many instances of dramatic irony in which circumstances convey opposite meanings to the agents on one hand and the audience on the other. So we have many illustrations of dramatic irony, especially in the plays of William Shakespeare. Now, even when we talk about the other things, we also come to know that in Macbeth, what kind of incidents led to dramatic irony. Now, as you all know, Duncan was the king of Scotland in the play Hamlet, and Duncan's visit to Macbeth's castle is a beautiful instance of dramatic irony, because when he says there is no art to find the mind's construction in the face. I mean, these lines are quoted frequently, that people say that face is the index of the mind. Whatever comes from the face, whatever it is a reflection of the mind. Mind here means the thoughts. Mind is what? Mind is a collection of our thoughts, our thinking pattern, and what kind of thoughts we are collecting inside. And those thoughts vibrate through our facial expressions. So, face is the index of the mind. This is a common statement, and this also proves true many a times. But the irony here is there is no art to find the mind's construction in the face. This is what is said by Duncan. He speaks warmly, but the audience knows that it means his doom. So Duncan was very wise, because he was really not aware of who is the one who's betraying him and who's the one who's loyal to him. So I think these lines are directly directed and stated as a comment to Macbeth, who's the protagonist of the play, of course, Macbeth. And of course, in the same play, in the Porter scene, the drunkard Porter admits Macduff and Lennox to the castle. Macduff talks lightly to him about talks lightly to him. Only the audience knows of the discovery that will soon be made. So, in other words, we can say that irony is a state of affairs on an event that seems deliberately contrary to what one expects. That I can also place an example. If you have read Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, when she goes through that trauma, she's the one who instigates Macbeth to go and kill Duncan, the King of Scotland. And afterwards, when Macbeth has done the deed, and when she is guilty about the fact, she says that she's washing her hands again and again, and she's lost her mind. She's become insane. She's lost her mind. And then afterwards, she's saying that all the perfumes of Arabia will not be able to wipe away the blood stains from the hands. So she remembers that the guilt is there in her mind. So initially, when she says that, okay, go and kill Duncan, and it's not a big deal. And afterwards, when the guilt comes, so again there is a kind of an ironical. Here we can say that, of course, it's an example of dramatic irony, but also we can say that the irony also occurs not only in situations but also in the way a person thinks, in the profundity of the thoughts of a person. So that's all for irony. Thank you.